Yo, what's going on everyone? In today's video, I will be showing you the easiest way to make over $1.8 million this week in GTA 5 Online as a solo player in under 1 hour as many times as you want to. So getting straight into this, what we are going to be doing is the money laundering missions inside of the hands-on car wash, because this week they are paying 4 times money and 4 times RP, which this is very overpowered. Anyway, to start these missions, enter inside the hands-on car wash business, go over to your laptop and then click right D-pad. From there you want to start the money laundering missions. From here you'll be put inside of 1 out of 4 of the random money laundering missions, which keep in mind out of all 4 of the money laundering missions there is only 3 that we need to complete because there's 1 that you want to ignore every time. Anyway, getting into the first type of money laundering mission you could possibly get, it is going to be called Recover the Cash, which has you go over to either the terminal or also Elysian Island to search for a container containing a vehicle inside. Once you find the correct container, you then want to get your weapon and then shoot the lock. Once you shoot the lock open, go up to the container and click right D-pad to open it. Once you open it and got inside the vehicle, all we need to do from here is deliver this over to either the salvage yard or also the marked location. As you could see, in this case, I delivered it over to my salvage yard since it is way closer for me, but if you don't own a salvage yard, the only option for you will be the marked location. From there, once you deliver the vehicle inside the salvage yard or the marked location, you'll be given a big bag of cash. Once you deliver the cash back over to the hands-on car wash, just like that, we have now completed the mission, which as you'll see, after you complete any one of the money laundering missions in the game, you won't get the money right away because we have to wait for that money to be processed. Since of course the money we just stole is laundered money, so in order for us to turn that into legit money, we have to wait that 5 minutes for it to be washed through the hands-on car wash business. In the meantime, I definitely would recommend starting up another money laundering mission right up again, since by the time we complete this second money laundering mission, the money from the first one will already have been processed and be put inside of the black bag. On that note though, getting into the second type of money laundering mission you could get, it is called Steal the Rival's Cash, which has you go over to a marked location to break into a trunk and steal equipment, which is going to be some charges, which we will be using later on to explode the inside of a building. But anyway, after you collect them, you want to go over to the rival's operation, take out the enemies out front and then break inside the building. Once inside the building and took out the enemies inside, you then want to steal the cash. Once we stole all the laundered cash, we then want to plant those 2 explosive charges at these locations and then immediately exit the operation, get on our vehicle and leave the area. Once you left the area and the detonation has went off, you then want to deliver the cash back over to the hands-on car wash business, because once you do, we have now completed this entire mission just like so. And as I said, once you complete that second money laundering mission, the money from the first one will already have been processed and be put inside of this black bag, which as you could see is $140,000 per mission. Which is pretty crazy because we are pretty much going to be making $140,000 every 5 minutes or less, depending on which mission you get every time you launch one of these missions. Anyway, let's get into the third and final type of money laundering mission you could get, which is called Torch the Rival Operation, which this one is my favorite since it is the easiest. All you'll have to do first is go over to the rival's operation, but before you go over there, you want to go over to an area right by there to pick up the Molotovs. Once you pick up all of these Molotovs, we can now go over to the rival's operation and then take out the enemies in front. Once you take out those enemies, we can then get the Molotovs and start lighting up this cash on fire. After you did that, break inside the building because there will be way more cash to light on fire inside of here, but there also will be 2 more enemies, so make sure you take out those enemies first and after light all of the cash on fire inside this entire building. Because once you do, we then need to leave the operation, and once we left, we then need to chase 1 more person around this area that we need to take out, and once we take him out, we then need to leave the area. As you are seeing, this mission is definitely the easiest in the Oppressor Mark II, because once you left the area, we have now completed the entire mission, and this is one of the only missions where you want to actually launch another money laundering mission from the phone. To do this, simply call Raf, and once he picks up, you want to select your hands-on car wash business and then of course launch the money laundering mission from here. Anyway though, we now went over the only 3 different type of money laundering missions you should be completing out of all of the different ones you could get from the hands-on car wash business. The only other one is the one that I wouldn't recommend you doing. It's the mission that involves you basically getting a stockade and going to rob 3 different banks around the city of Los Santos, which is definitely the most annoying one since it is super time consuming. That's why if you ever get that mission, just find a new session honestly and start up another money laundering mission, that way you get a completely new one. It's also super important to make sure that once your heat bar is almost all the way full like mine is here inside the hands-on car wash business, that is when you want to complete one of the normal car wash delivery missions. Because if that heat bar was to get completely full, the business will completely shut down, which we of course do not want. So make sure once it is almost all the way full, that is when you want to complete the normal car wash mission, which these missions are so simple. All you are doing is going over to pick up a random customer's car, bringing it back over to the hands-on car wash, washing it, and then delivering it back over to their house, which once you do, you have now completely got the heat bar down to 0. The reason I wanted to show you how to complete those 3 money laundering missions the fastest way possible completely solo is because the title of this video is not cap whatsoever. I actually was able to earn $1.8 million in under 1 hour. Take a look at the time right now. It is 12:53 p.m. and right now I will be going on a run, grinding as many of these money laundering missions as I can in only 1 hour to see how much money I could possibly make. And I filmed the entire process. Take a look. This is around my halfway point where I needed to get my heat bar all the way back down to 0 since it was almost all the way full at around $560,000 in work earnings. So once I did that, that was around 1:18 p.m. So almost at my halfway point, but once I did complete that car wash mission, I got my heat bar back down to 0, so I was able to complete more money laundering missions, and once I completed more, I was able to get my work earnings to $840,000. Which at this point it was 1:33 p.m. so you could see I did do a few more money laundering missions after I did that car wash, but once I did get that $840,000, I then decided to collect my money since it was almost at that $1 million threshold that the black bag can hold. It's okay though because that $840,000 is on my character, so we will still be able to see exactly how much money my character will be earning since all of the earned money will be on my actual character and not in the bank. Take a look though, I came back a little bit later after I completely finished my money laundering missions in that 1 hour. It is now 1:55 p.m. so just 2 minutes over my threshold of that 1 hour timer that I gave myself. And take a look, my work earnings is at $700,000 now. Which right now I'm technically missing one more mission's money since it hasn't been processed, but here I skip straight to it so it's now processed. So I earned an extra $840,000 on my next run of money laundering missions that I did. So at this point, I was able to collect all of the money that I earned from the money laundering missions from the black bag, which once I did, here is how much money I earned in total. It is on my person, a total of just under $1.8 million. Keep in mind, I also did collect the money from the safe because you will be earning safe income inside the hands-on car wash business as well once you are doing these money laundering missions. So yeah, now you literally saw proof of me earning that $1.8 million in only 1 hour grinding these money laundering missions, because a lot of YouTubers went over this amazing thing to be grinding this week in GTA 5 Online, since these money laundering missions are of course paying this 4 times money and 4 times RP, but not everyone is actually showing you how much money they are earning in only 1 hour. But of course, to earn this money in only 1 hour, you definitely can't be a noob. You definitely need to know what you are doing during all of these missions. That's why during the beginning of this video, I showed you the best and fastest way to complete all of them as a solo player. So there's pretty much no excuses. Everyone watching this video will be able to earn $1.8 million every single hour as many times as they want to this entire week. So make sure you grind this as many times as you possibly can. With all of that being said though, if you went on to enjoy my video, please do me a favor by going down below and dropping a like on it before you click off. And until next time, I will see you all in my very next video. Peace.